Hi guys, welcome to Lido's first webinar. We're so excited to have so many of you here with us. We are going to wait a couple of minutes before we get started, just so that some of our friends and parents can join us. It's great to see so many of you in the comments. And we're very excited that you're excited. We have a great session here for you today, and you're going to learn so much. So, for those of you who are just joining, I'm just going to do a quick introduction. So, we here are Lido Learning, and we're India's best live online classes. And we have expert tutors with just 6 students in every class, so that each of you gets better marks and has a brighter future. So, as you know, Lido offers interactive classes, content for grades 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 for ICSE and CBSE in maths, science, English, and coding. For the best learning experience, a student needs face-to-face interaction in a group of just 6 students with a rock-star teacher to guide them, and interactive content to keep all of you engaged. At Lido, we've combined all 3 of these to build a classroom for the 21st century that is engaging for students, credible for parents, and empowering for all our tutors. But we don't just care about in-class learning. We care about the holistic growth of students. And that's why Lido has started this webinar series, where we hope to help connect you with experts in India and beyond, like the person we have with us today, and tell you how you can make your kids and your own lives better while still sitting at home very safe. So I'm very excited to actually welcome our first guest. Hi, Usha. Sorry, guys, we're having some technical difficulties. Give us a second. We'll be right back.
Yeah, hi. Can you hear me?
Hi, Usha. Give us a second. Hopefully, yes, you're on now. Hopefully, all of our viewers can also see Usha here. We're super excited to have her with us. So we're just going to do a quick round of introductions before we start today. So we're super excited for Usha to be here. For those of you who don't know, Usha is actually an award-winning international performance storyteller and educationist who is going to convince all of you kids out there how to stay safe on the internet. As we know, we're all spending so much time on the internet, so it's super important to think about how we can stay safe. Now, Usha is the founder and creative director of the Mumbai Storytellers Society, an initiative born out of her zeal to keep the oral tradition alive. We know that all of you hear enough lectures from your parents, so what we want to make sure is that we tell you how to stay safe in a really fun way. And you can trust that Usha is going to do this because in October 2019, Usha curated Sci-Fari, which was an experience to explore science through stories. It was a festival that was the first of its kind in India. So we're very excited for Usha to bring that same zest for storytelling to tell us how we can stay safe in an increasingly online world. Hi, Usha.
Hello, Nandini. Thank you for that awesome introduction. And hello to everybody who is listening, watching online. Thanks to Lido, I'm here. And as Nandini said, I'm a storyteller and I educate through stories. and I think it's in a fun and engaging manner. And that's what I'm going to do. We are going to get web smart today, all about how to be safe on the internet. Now, the internet is a global tool, right? And it can be fun and can also be used in a productive way. So, we're going to see how we are going to be safe while using the internet. Like I said, it is a powerful global tool, and we have to be careful how we use it. It connects people, allows us to share ideas, communicate, and access information. And that's what you'll be doing with Lido. Access information quickly and across huge distances. It's a powerful resource. That's why we need to use internet safety or be savvy about how we use the internet. How two things that you have to keep in mind is keep your computer safe and keep yourself safe too. And that's why we need to get web smart. Now, what is web smart? Basically, how you can get smart while using the internet. So I just want to kind of share a couplet. Have you got your web smart? Getting online is amazing. You will love it. And I'm sure you all are realizing it now in these lockdown times. First, get your web smart to 100%. You go online, right? And you're surfing the web like every night, also during the day now. That's cool. Make sure you think through where you go, what you do, and with who. And that's what we are going to see today. So, do you want to add anything, Nandini, or shall I just go on?
That was thank you so much for getting us started on this. As you guys all know, you're on the internet right now, and we want to make sure that you're being smart about it. And I can't wait for you to start sharing the stories, Usha.
Yes. Just before that, it is a note to the viewers that, see, handling strangers in the virtual environment is not easy. So, how do you handle? Okay, there is a stranger danger. You need to filter the website. As Christopher Harris said, filter a website and you protect a student for a day. Educate students about online safety in the real world environment, and you protect your child for a lifetime. And that's what I'm going to talk to you today about how to stay safe on the internet, right? Through a story. Now, this story was written by this wonderful, wonderful author, A.M. Marcus. It is the cyber spying glass. Okay. So once there lived a young boy named Eric who was not very old either, just about 9 years old. And he was excited. It was Christmas time. And Christmas is a time for sharing gifts, sharing, giving. Okay. So he expected a special Christmas gift. He was waiting to get a tablet, a small computer, a laptop. So Christmas morning dawned and he rushed down the stairs and looked around at all the gifts piled beneath the Christmas tree. And he saw his name written in some of the gifts and he began to open them. He saw toys, he saw some games. He was a bit disappointed. Finally, he saw one small gift, which was a small, flat, rectangular shape gift, which had his name on it. He unwrapped and then he found that he had the tablet, the what he wanted. He could use the tablet, or what do you call that? What is the name used today? It is an iPad to surf the net. He was super excited. He thanked his parents and he wanted to go inside, immediately explore, but he didn't know how to. So he asked his sister, older sister, Kelly, and he said, "Will you help me?" So she said, "Yes, but wait a minute. I have a gift for you too. And she presented him with a Sherlock Holmes detective kit, which had a Sherlock Holmes hat and had magnifying glasses. And he said, "Why do we need that?" He said, "You need to be a detective to go into the internet, right? And we need to see what's there because there is a lot of danger." He said, "Really?" And she said, "Why don't we explore?" So Eric, put on his the Sherlock Holmes hat, and then with his magnifying glass, they just pressed the buttons. Then everything started flying, and they found themselves inside the internet, and they were in a chat room. And in that chat room, something popped up. Cool Kid 3. I live in Hawaii and my dad's a billionaire. Don't say anything bad about me or he'll send his ninjas after you. Eric imagined a beautiful mansion in that tropical island of Hawaii. And then he saw another chat, and that read like, "My dad works at the biggest video game company in the world, and he lets me play all the games." So he wondered, wow, that is so amazing. After reading the next message, Eric imagined that Rollerblade 2 with a bunch of video games he had to play. He envied him. And he turned to his sister and said, "That must be awesome, Kelly. But how do we know they're telling the truth about their dads?" Kelly said, "That's the point. That's why you have the magnifying glass. Point your magnifying glass on their usernames and let's take a closer look." And that's what they did. And when they took a closer look, he saw a boy in ragged clothes in a small, dirty room with snow falling outside the window. Oh, he's not a billionaire, and nor is he in a fancy house in Hawaii, Eric thought. And then he turned to his sister and he said, "Why they are not telling the truth?" And Kelly said, "Yes, not everything that you read on the chat rooms are true." They went to another chat room and he saw a boy, bare hands, had written, "I'm 14 and I have big muscles. Don't you mess with me." And you know what Eric did? He pointed his magnifying glass and also revealed that bare hands wasn't telling the truth. His claims of big muscles were all lies. There was nothing. Another chat room said, "Oh, I am a young girl. Would you like to meet me? I live in New York. Who wants to meet up?" And Eric pointed his magnifying glass and he gasped. It was a grown up man with a strange smile on his face. He turned to his sister and said, "Kelly, why would someone pretend to be a kid?" "Some people do that because they want to trick or hurt children," Kelly explained. So she began to make her young brother web smart. Now, what was the things to keep in mind when you are in using the internet? How to be a detective. Let me just quickly scroll down. A detective will be able to tell what information on the internet is valuable and what is untrue. People lie on the internet, friends. Hence, every internet user needs to be a detective, right? Be careful who you talk to. You have to have a Sherlock Holmes detective hat and a magnifying glass, right? How do we know who is lying? Who is telling the truth? If anything seems suspicious out there, you need to let your parents know about it. You need to talk to an adult about it. What is suspicious? So Kelly is explaining everything to little Eric. If somebody asks you for personal information, don't give. If somebody wants to meet up with you, somebody asks you to keep a secret, and somebody says, "Hey, I have a surprise for you. Don't you share with me?" and meet me. That's when you ask for help with capital letters HELP. Do not give personal information to others like your address, your whole name, or tell the name of your school, where you play, etc. You got to pay attention to the clues in order to stay safe on the internet, right? And that's what Kelly told Eric, how to be web smart. And I ask Nandini to say how safe it is to be with Lido learning, because it is a virtual uh, education, ed
At
tech education. Sorry, what was that? Go ahead.
Yes. So at Lido, we make sure that students are always safe. So we make sure that you only are talking to adults who you actually know. So you'll talk to your tutors and you'll talk to your academic advisor. But beyond that, don't worry about any stranger danger. There are not going to be any strangers lurking around the Lido platform or sending you messages or sending you emails or asking for any personal details. And whatever information that you share with us, which is your school name, your name itself, your phone number, all of that data stays with us. We do not share that with anyone. We do not sell it to any third parties. We keep your data very, very safe. Now, the big question is whether every other site that you go to is giving you that same promise. Especially for parents out there, you should know that your children's safety and information is of paramount importance to us.
Thank you, Nandini. So, guys, children, parents, you're safe with Lido learning. And I also want to add that remember this song you can learn before you click, click, click. You need to think, think, think. Be safe, 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 and tell someone. Don't try to fix things all by yourself. Always ask for help, help, help. Simple, right? Just remember that. If you find anything suspicious, I mean it, anything that doesn't seem all right, you need to ask for help, right? You turn to your parents, they will be guiding you, they will support you, and they will keep you safe from potential dangers. And for parents out there, it's your job to exercise parental control and also when to ease up, right? Give the children a little freedom and let them grow and mature in their decision making skills. And they are safe with Lido learning, right? So, once again, I just want to tell you that you need to be safe. You need to keep these checklists in mind that you don't give your personal information, your name, your address, where you come from, and also be a responsible internet user. So, this is where I address the cyber etiquette, or it's called the netiquette, right? So, how do you use the internet safely, right? There are certain things that you have to be mindful about. Do give credit where it is due and do be consistent. Don't troll. That is, don't make nasty comments. I will come to that a little later. Don't spam private messaging. Don't do that. Don't abuse tagging, right? There are rules of conduct. They're very important while you're communicating online because the communication online is non-verbal, which is why good manners such as simple email, blogs, and social networking is required, right? So be respectful, be aware of how your comments might be read, be careful with humor and sarcasm, think about who can see what you have shared, and also be forgiving. Remember to check friend requests and group invites before you accept them. Don't be a wannabe, right? Especially to all the students out there. I had two children grow up during that's when, the internet started. And I know that there can be cyberbullying, cyber trolling, cyber stalking. And that is what I'm going to talk about next. And Nandini, do you want to uh, share something with our viewers?
Yeah, definitely. So at Lido, we are really concerned about the cyberbullying out there and how dangerous and traumatic that can be for young children and even older children. So what we try to do is we make sure that in when you are in one of our classrooms, we actually make sure that there is no private messaging allowed. So whatever you say it on the public chat so that no one can harass you and you're not even tempted to say anything that you wouldn't say to that person's face. We also make sure that certain words are not allowed when you are sending chat messages, because we know that words can be really awful and hurtful and painful, and we want all of our Lido students to be really on their best behavior, not just on Lido but in general. So that's the stuff that we do at Lido. But on a personal level, I think there are some of our users have a couple of questions, so maybe we could throw some of them in there. Usha,
Yes. Yes, if they can just pause a bit, because I want to talk about cyberbullying
yes,
and what is cyber trolling and cyber stalking, because it is rampant. And I'm
absolutely.
sure the students and teachers and parents out there would agree. It happens with adults as well. So, what is cyberbullying? It is posting mean, embarrassing messages, emails, or to make threats, right? Because they are anonymous, they are invisible in the internet, they are emboldened. You feel they are they have the courage and they feel they can get away with it to bully you online. And what is cyber trolling? Tends to inflame. You kind of write inflammatory words, you upset, damage others using vile invectives, vile words, insults, and other verbal abuse, right? Trolling, I think everybody knows what's happening on the Twitter, the trolls everywhere, right? So you know what is trolling. So that's why, if you're mindful, careful about what you post, don't make any incendiary comments. You have to use your words very carefully. And what is cyber stalking? Now, that is really dangerous. Somebody is keeping an eye on you electronically, right? They're stalking you electronically because they have the ease of anonymity. You don't know who's doing that. That makes them bold, and they can also hurt you. So don't give out your personal information. Don't give out anything. So you have to be very careful about how you frame your own user word, your passwords, and what you put out there, especially on the social networking sites. So this is what you got to keep in mind. And if there are any questions, Nandini, yes, I will take that. Like I said, you have to become web smart and really mindful and a detective when you're surfing the net. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. And do you have any tips and tricks that we should keep in mind, our users and our viewers should keep in mind as they go about like posting on social media or anything like that? What type of information
Yeah.
is good to post versus things that we should be more careful about?
Okay. See, these are, I would like to here list out, the 10 productive ways to spend time on internet. How can you use the internet, which is a global tool? It's an amazing tool. Sitting in the drawing room of my house, I can reach out to so many people via Lido learning. And I've been doing a lot of webinars, a lot of interviews, storytelling on a world platform where I can reach somebody in New Zealand and somebody right there in Finland. That wouldn't be possible. These couple of months have made that possible. So, what are the 10 productive ways how you can spend time? Learn something new. So, you can learn something new with Lido learning, right? While I was talking with Nandini, um, since it is an educational website where they augment the curriculum in a fun and engaging way, one way is to now I think students grow up to be lateral thinkers, laterally, growing, not in a linear fashion. So I think Lido learning will help you to develop your lateral skills, lateral thinking skills. You can develop opinions and world views because you can surf the world, the global sites. You can get organized. You can update your personal and professional life as well. Um, the other things I don't want to shop smart, pick a cool new app, get a virtual assistant, take a world tour on your desktop. Now, you can take a world tour of learning from your desktop with Lido learning, right?
Indeed, indeed. And if
Yeah.
I can just jump in, that's what we try to do, right? I think even before Corona, Lido always believed that from the safety of your home, we could give you the best education in the world. That no matter whether you're sitting in Chandigarh, whether you're sitting in Lucknow, whether you're sitting in Mumbai, whether you're sitting in Bangalore, wherever you are in the world, in India or in the world, we can connect you with amazing teachers and use our technology to actually show you the world. In our classes, we actually take you, we have virtual adventures where you can see different parts of the world while sitting at home. We get to share videos and we get to share different activities, we play games, and we can do all of that safely sitting at home and using the internet very productively. So you can learn math, science, English, and coding all with us from the safety of our home.
Great, that's wonderful. So, do we take questions or anything else that you need me to add?
Yeah, I think we
Um,
can start with a few questions. It seems like there are a bunch in the comments.
okay, but before that, I just want to ask them a few questions which AM Marcus has for us, which is
Yes.
very, very interesting. And he says that would you like to be a detective when you're online? And why should you be a detective? So, if you heard me, you would be able to answer that, right? All of us, even grown ups, need to be a detective. You need to see which website is fine. I mean, which is you can get internet virus. That's another thing which I did not. It's not a virus like Corona, but it is a virus which can destroy all your data and information. So you have to be really careful. That's where I think the URL comes in, where that HTTP has to be there in every URL that you go and see. Okay, the next question is, do you wish you had a magnifying glass like the children in this story so that you can see the truth behind people's words on the internet? I wish I could, because some people write such amazing things that I wonder whether it's true. And I wish I had a magnifying glass. What kind of things should you not tell a stranger? So, if you have listened to us, you would know what you should not tell a stranger. If someone makes you feel suspicious, scared, or concerned, what should you do? Right? Okay. So, this is kind of reaffirming or recapitulating what we have discussed so far. Now, I think we can be open to questions. Nandini?
Yeah, definitely. I think we can pull up a few questions because it seems like there's a lot of questions in the audience. So I'm going to pull some up and then read them out. So all of the viewers, as you keep posting them, you're actually going to see your comments up here on the screen, which is super exciting. So we'll see your name as well. All right. So the first question is from Shubham Jain. So Shubham's asking whether some sites like Paytm are safe because they ask for your bank details. So are sites like Paytm and MobiKwik safe?
Um, First of all, let me tell you, I am not an authority on cybercrime. I am a storyteller. But what I can tell you is because um, Paytm is safe, all that I know is you have to keep changing your password, right?
Yeah.
That will keep you safe,
Ah,
right? There are people who can, how do they what hack the internet? I mean, I've been watching some amazing movies where they can just get all information. How do they do that? So one thing to be smart is to keep changing your password. I hope that answers.
yeah, and I think just to add to that for the people out there, think about what app you're on, and what information it's asking from you, right? If you're on Amazon and you're buying something and they ask you for your address, that's obviously something that you should give them, because there's no other way your package is going to get delivered. So when Paytm or MobiKwik are asking for you for your bank details, as long as you're on the real Paytm app and not some other thing that looks like Paytm, you should give them your bank details. But if you are one of our students who's somewhere in the age group of like grade 4 to grade 9, you should be definitely talking to your parents before you give anyone any information. So be really, really careful about who and what and when you're giving any kind of information.
Absolutely, because the age group of fourth graders to ninth graders, no way you're using a credit card or a Paytm or any online portal to pay money without the support guidance of your parents, right? So keep that in mind.
Absolutely. All right, so I'm going to pull up another question from our audience. So, Yash is asking, a prince from Nigeria messaged me, should I send him money?
You tell me, Yash, do you think you should? What's your answer? A prince from Nigeria. Have you put on your magnifying glass and seen his username? And have you gone and checked him out? Don't get taken in by these things. I don't think so.
Exactly. This sounds like a story, right, Usha? Something that we're quite familiar with. This sounds like a tall tale, and we must be careful not to fall
Absolutely.
for them.
Yeah, this is like the chat room, the cyber spying glass you take. And this is like a chat room, the messages that are coming. There is no truth behind it. It's not all that what it seems, right? Here, the adage, all that appears glitters is not gold. So please be very careful. Take the guidance of an adult, your parents.
Absolutely. We should all be very careful about this. On a funny note, Usha, by any chance, have you ever clicked on any links that happen to be scams?
No, I'm not guilty because, I'm of that generation which never knew how to use the internet because my children went abroad to study. That's when I got onto Facebook, you see. And then I don't know, I do make mistakes. So that's why I'm not touching the screen and somewhere something gets pressed. Today morning, my son, okay, now this is something I want to share. Remote control. Uh, the computer gives access for a remote control. So through remote control, he was setting things right on my desktop. So you see, I never click, I never buy anything online. I only search for stories and stories and stories. And then, of course, there are virtual uh, festivals happening now. So I just go click on the Zoom link and I sit there and watch. Or I also told at an international level a story. So I just use it for that purpose. And I'm sorry, I never click on any links.
See, kids and parents out there, that is the type of answer we all should have. We should all feel like we have no temptation to click on links. I have definitely fallen prey to some of them. The company I used to work at used to sometimes send us emails to see if we would fall for these scams. And I used to always think, oh, maybe they actually are trying to give me tickets to the Olympics or tickets to the Soccer World Cup. But those are all actually things that you should not click on. If something seems too good to be true on the internet, it is definitely not true. So we should be careful. So we have another question from, I don't know this, but I think from Rima25, who's asking about whether online games are safe, as kids are playing a lot these days. So just to, I guess, to sort of like answer this, it depends on what it is, right? Like we at Lido have a lot of games on our platform. But those games are in an environment that is protected, right? You don't have, you don't have 85-year-olds in that, or people who are trying to prey on young kids or anything like that. It's a safe environment in which kids are actually learning how to do math or science or coding or English in a fun way. Even beyond that, you can play games online for sure, but just think before you give anyone in a gaming chat room any sort of personal information. That is not part of the game, and you're not going to get extra points, and you're not going to get an extra life by giving people information. So that's something to keep in mind. The internet is a safe place. If you are being smart about it, and if you remember Usha's song, where we have to keep our smarts about ourselves and like think before we click something. So I'm going to pull up another question. So
Okay.
Aryamik Yadav is asking us, what are the best ways we can find out whether a person is suspicious?
Okay, like I said in the story, what is suspicious? If somebody is asking for personal information, asks for your name, wants to meet with you, tells you, keep a secret for me, or I have a surprise, would you like to meet me? That is when all your radars and all your antennas should go up. You know that that is suspicious. So anything that doesn't sit right with you is suspicious. So please seek help and support from an elder. Yeah, and usually it's your parents. You have to seek help. Don't click on anything. Don't give any personal information at any cost.
Absolutely. That's a really important thing to just keep telling ourselves. There is no reason to be telling anyone where you live or anything like that. So, Shalima Reddy is asking another question. What if the game asks our name? Can we tell our name?
I don't know much about these internet games. Maybe Nandini, you can answer. Are they asking for your real name or your game name? I have no idea how that works.
So, if it's a game in which you can just put in a fake name, it's always better to go with a game name, right? Then you're in a gameplay world. You might as well enjoy whatever it is that you want to have. You don't need to give your real name and say I am XYZ and I live here and this is my age. So we should be safe about what information, and if we can be careful, we might as well be careful. So in games, we should give them nicknames and not our real name for sure.
Agree with you.
Absolutely. Well, so I think we have more questions in the comments. People keep putting your questions there because this is a great chance for you to talk about and ask your questions on how to stay safe and how to keep yourselves or your kids safe or anything like that. So there are a lot of questions about online games. So I think we will just sort of say that we should all be a little careful about information, not putting our real names in online games, not putting our credit card details. We shouldn't be having credit cards if you're in school anyway, and not giving any personal information in chat rooms, and not being rude to people in chat rooms as well. So I think we can just use all of those as good tools to stay safe in the online gaming world. So if we have any questions on anything other than that, we can definitely take some of those as well. Oh, I guess we're getting some questions about Lido. Just gonna quickly sort of say that for all of you viewers out there, if you're trying to figure out how to actually take a class with Lido Learning, we're super excited to tell you. All you have to do is follow the instructions down here, which is to go to www.lidolearning.com And right there, click on the free book your free trial now button, and you'll be able to book what time, what class, what day you want to take a free class with Lido. And we will be super excited to show you how you can learn something in a very, very, very safe way. Oh, and then I guess we're having some more questions about what type of. Oh, someone's asking a question. I'm going to pull that up. About Amrish Tiwari is asking about the story itself. What is the moral of the story that you told us?
Okay, Amrish, were you listening to my story? There is no moral. I don't give you the moral of a story. I let you make an educated guess, informed choice from the story. What was the story about? It was about a young boy who gets a tablet for Christmas gift, and he's never, explored it. So before he explores, he asks his sister for help, and she gives him a Sherlock Holmes detective kit, which is a magnifying glass and a Sherlock Holmes hat. So they use the magnifying glass to step into the internet. And the first thing is, I guess he goes to a chat room and a lot of chats come up. And the chats are kind of mind boggling, amazing, too good to be true. And that's when his sister tells him that everything that's in the chat room is not true. So you have to be very careful. You have to be aware of the dangers lurking out there. And that's how she tells him that you don't give your personal information about your school name, about your house address, and also things about where you play games or what you do. You can list your hobbies, but don't say where you go and do the hobby. Like I play badminton at so and so club. I go swimming at the Otters Club. Don't have to give all those information, right? So the story was all about how to play safe on the internet. That is what the author A.M. Marcus, who is actually an Israeli, he's from Israel, and he's an engineer himself, and he has written the Cyber Spying Glass, which is all about getting web smart and how to stay safe in the internet. And also, if you want to, I can just tell you that just think before you post. So think spells THINK. So T is it true? Whatever you're going to post, think about it. H is for helpful. Is it helpful? I is for inspiring. What you're posting, is it inspiring? Is it going to inspire and help others? N is for, is it necessary to post at all? And then K is it kind? So I think that kind of sums up the story, that think before you post. So again, I want to reiterate that song. Before you click, 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 you need to think, think, think. Be safe, 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 and tell someone. Don't try to fix things all by yourself. Always ask for help, help, help. So the song is fun, but then you just need to be, like I said, think carefully whether you need to post, whether it's helping others, whether it's an inspirational post. Is it necessary? And are you using kind words? Very important. So that should be the takeaway, if you ask me, from the story.
Absolutely. And one of our viewers, Kanchan, has actually put that in the comments. So I'm just showing that to everyone on screen. Remember, true, helpful, inspiring, necessary, and kind. That's what you should try to be. Now I'm going to so Usha, there are a few questions that I think maybe we can answer together around just things, how to be safe on the internet. So there's someone asking a question around APKs. So as you all know, really think before you download something. All credible providers are listed in the Play Store. As you know, you can find our Lido Learning app in the Play Store itself. We are not asking anyone to download anything through a link. So APKs honestly can be dangerous. And as we've been talking about, it is better to be safe than to be sorry. And APKs are a perfect example of that, right? Instead of getting an Android package, think, why has this provider not chosen to put themselves in the Google Play Store? Because all the apps, especially you kids, should be playing, are all listed and are all parent safe on the App Store itself. So there really shouldn't be a reason for you to be on APKs. So yeah.
Tell me, Nandini, what is APK? That's Latin and Greek for me.
I'm glad you asked, Usha. And for the viewers out there who don't know what an APK is an Android package. So that's something that you can download directly from a website as opposed to going to the Google Play Store and actually having a legitimate app. So again, really think, like, especially when it comes to your kids, you don't want them near things that are APKs. You'd much rather have them go to the Play Store and download official apps that are kid safe, kid friendly, and are not going to be in any way spying on you or stealing your data. Especially with APKs, you don't know what their privacy policy is. You don't know who they're sharing your data with. So best not to do this. As much as you like, there should be no reason to do this.
Absolutely.
So we have another question around Zoom. So I think with Zoom, as we mentioned, Zoom can be a great tool, right? Like both Usha and myself have used Zoom a lot. Right now we're using another video chatting app called Skype. These are great if you know the person on the other side. You should never be get on Zoom and be talking to a random stranger. You should not be answering random phone calls on Skype. You should definitely not be sending anyone money via any of these platforms or personal details. Again, everything is as safe as you make it, right? We all, as some of our users are saying, we're smart, we don't fall for tricks. But sometimes, even without being tricked, we ourselves can give off information and give up the information that others can use in a way that can hurt us, right? It's no one's forcing you to go online and make a post about something that says where you live or where your dad works and like something specific about that. But sometimes you can just let out information and then it becomes very easy to actually cyber stalk you, to target you, or anything like that. So it's really important that you are very careful about how you use things. Because like both me and Usha are saying, the internet can be such a productive and awesome place to be. And we would really hope that all of you watching would be productive and awesome and enjoy the internet with us on Lido or use it on webinars like this on YouTube where you know it's safe. No one is asking you for personal details, nothing like that.
Yeah, and I also wanted to add my two-bit, Nandini. I think there are privacy settings on every social networking site. So I think use those privacy settings. They are provided so that they can keep you safe, from predators so that you don't give out. I think that is important. I'm sure you all know about those privacy settings, but it just popped in my mind and I thought I should just share that.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's, I think, very important to also talk to your parents as you go on social media platforms. I know a lot of kids out there are starting to get Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all of that. And it's really important that you talk to your parents before you do this. And make sure you read the terms and conditions and the privacy settings before you do anything like this or give out any sort of information and friend anyone who is messaging you. So it seems like Usha, that's about the questions that we have. We have a few again, a little around Lido, but I wanted to take a second to thank you, Usha, for telling all our kids and parents out there in such a fun and engaging manner how they should actually be safe on the internet and how they should really think before they do anything. Maybe we should just one last time tell them the acronym for think.
Yes, I will. And I just thought maybe a word to the grown-ups out there. You know, the how do you handle the internet for parents? I'm talking about, say, a grade four student, wants to access. Today, even kindergarten kids have a tablet in hand and they're playing games. So, how the virtual environment is not always safe. So, how does your parents step in for that stranger danger? How do they teach that all strangers are not scary, mean, and want to hurt or abduct children? Not everyone is. In real life, also, you have the same threat. But in an online environment, sometimes the danger is hard to realize without the necessary skills for handling tough situations because the danger is anonymous, right? You don't know who the danger is. So, young children that are just beginning to venture online alone need their parents' support and guidance to navigate the potential dangers. Okay, it is as adults, it's our job as parents when to place parental control and when to ease up. I just wanted to share that part to the adults, and I will definitely end it with think. Before you post, think. T is for true. Is your information true? H is for helpful. Is it helpful? I is for inspiring. Is it inspirational? And N is for necessary. Is it really necessary for you to post? And K is the message or the information that you're putting out there, is it kind? So, true, helpful, inspiring, necessary, and kind. There are the five things that you need to keep in mind. Like I said, be netiquette. Use the internet etiquette. We all need to really, as we are progressing in these times, I think internet etiquette is very important.
Absolutely. And I've put some of the comments from our users who have also given us some sort of indications on like other things, and I've highlighted the main points of things that we need to be careful about. We've gotten lots of questions about online games. Register it as a guest. Don't link your social media and don't put in your real name. And then you can safely play what you want. When it comes to downloading apps, go to the Google Play Store. APKs are not safe, and instead, you know that you should go to a certified website. You should be going to the Google Play Store always. So do not just download anything off the net. And as we all know, a big takeaway from this is going to be to think before we do anything on the internet. So thank you so much, Usha, for being here with us today. It's been an absolute pleasure. And again, thank you for being our first guest on our webinar.
Thank you, Nandini. It was a pleasure. Thanks to Lido Learning. Thanks to your team, Alia and Mihir, the people with whom I've been interacting. Thank you so much. And also, my first webinar on internet safety, on cyber safety. I've done this at Safari, but not on the virtual internet, on the virtual platform. So, thank you. Have a lovely evening and be safe on the internet too. Be safe,
Absolutely.
stay home, but be safe on the internet.
Amazing. Take care, Usha, and you too stay safe on the internet. See you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
Bye bye.
Amazing, guys. So that was our very first webinar from Lido Learning. For those of you who are out there right now and are wondering how you can experience Lido as well, like I said, you can sign up for a trial class with us at Lido. Just go to www.lidolearning.com and choose what class, what subject, and what time for your class. We offer trial classes Monday to Sunday at any time. And for those of you who are asking whether we offer coding classes, we're super excited to say, yes, we do. We have started coding as well. So you can start math, science, English, and coding all with us at Lido. So use the internet productively and safely. So one last thing before we go. today. Bye.